Time to hop in.
Myron will be in here in a second.
Hello, hello. No one's on here yet, but it's okay. See, we need like an intro song, something hype and exciting.
Like that, right?
Yeah, very cute, babe. Hello, whoever is watching, welcome.
Hello. Good evening. We're gonna wait for some people to jump on.
Yeah, we're just getting started here.
Hey, Tyler.
Hello, Tyler.
We're going to be talking about some multifamily stuff. Because we know y'all love multifamily.
I know, get y'all's questions ready.
Mm-hmm.
Does your computer work slower when we're on this thing?
Thanks. Thanks for following along, Tyler.
What's up, everyone? What's going on YouTube? What's up, Facebook?
What's up, social media?
Oscar in the house.
I know, today is the day. Today's the day.
We say that every day now, I guess.
Today's the day, guys.
Today is the day.
You guys are excited to be here. Put it in the chat. Today's the day. Who's all here? Let's see.
Today is the day.
And people, look at this. Congrats on the new multi. Thank you so much, Tyler. This is the whole team. It's not just me. It's the whole team.
Where's Myron?
He is coming. He's putting our babies to bed.
Oh.
I said goodnight to them, and he's putting them down.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's why he's the favorite.
Oh yeah, today's the day.
Today is the day.
That's why he's the favorite. Is that why you said that?
I didn't say it.
He's the favorite because they get to stay up way late with him.
That's funny.
Hey, Crystal.
All right, guys. What do we have to talk about today?
Oh my gosh.
I think you're taking lead on this one today.
Oh, I'm taking lead on this one?
I think we're going to talk about what
your
multifamily property walkthroughs that Mr. Oscar has recently done.
You guys want to know the scoop on property walkthroughs? Is that correct?
Well, let's hear the scoop.
Heck yeah, I want the biggest scoop you got.
All right.
I'm trying to be funny like Carolyn and Joseph, but I don't got jokes.
Now, before we do that, can y'all introduce me to each other? Who does what? Fill me in real quick if you would. Who wants to go first?
Ooh.
Whoever. This is a good question. Okay, I'll go first. I'm KJ Mudd. I'm married to this one. I'm assuming on your screen he's below me. To Joseph. Okay, what was your question? Who does what? So I focus on calling brokers and finding deals. So I try to fill our pipeline as much as we can, and yeah, that's what I'm good at, talking to people and building relationships. So that's where I focus on, because that's my superpower, is talking to people. So I use that as a way to try and build these relationships with brokers to be the first ones that they think of when they got an off-market deal, so that way they send it to us. So that's my main focus.
I guess I should go next then. I'm Joseph Mudd, her husband. I do the lender stuff. So I am in charge of brokering lenders' relationships and acquiring that information, and also doing that aspect in the underwriting, making sure that whatever we can get approved for is going to still work with the deal. Also do a little bit of the other underwriting, do napkin underwriting, and a little bit of broker calls. But primarily, I'm the lender guy.
Awesome. I'll go next. I'm Carolyn Briley. Myron will be here in just a second. I am alongside KJ in the sense of like we're both visionaries. So we're both on the phones, we're making broker outreach calls, we're building relationships. What KJ also didn't mention that she needs to give herself credit to is that we also work in investor relationships, sponsorships that we need to bring into multifamily deals. What else? We're working on raising capital together, and we're just like kind of I wouldn't say kind of, we are the like more of the face of who we are as a team. Like myself, KJ, and Oscar were the three visionaries of the team. So we're doing the more interaction and relationship aspect. And that's with money, that's with brokers, and that's with deals and everything. So that's where my strong suit is. And I also do a little bit of like social media marketing that I need to ramp up in as well. But yeah, that's another facet.
Amazing team here, guys. Everyone has their own role. So for me, it's more like a well-rounded as well, just like Carolyn and KJ. I'm also on the front talking to people on the phones, brokers. I'm also helping Joseph talking to lenders. I'm helping with relationships with investors and sponsors, just like Carolyn and KJ as well. And also in charge of being in the rooms for negotiations and closing deals. So that's kind of all. I guess you can say that's us rounded off in the shell. Is everyone has something to do, but the three people that you see here, Carolyn, there you go, KJ, and visionaries. So we're in the front, and then
I know.
Joseph, and you don't see my other half, Ione, and Carolyn's other half, Myron. They're the integrators of the business. So they're the ones doing everything behind the scenes. But
They
yeah,
do the underwriting, then they send LOIs, send proof of funds.
Yes.
They do all that back work for us that like I don't know what I would do without them. Like I'm like, here, I got you a deal. Okay, your turn. So it works really well because they're able to help us navigate whether or not it's a deal. And if it is a deal, they help push it down the line of like sending LOIs, giving us the right terms or numbers to then send the LOI for, and telling us, okay, this is the strategy that we need to do for our exit strategy. So I feel like we all mesh really well.
yeah, and we're waiting for Myron because I want him to be here because he's going to ask me some questions too about property walkthroughs and whatnot. But
I'm texting his booty to get in here.
oh, you're fine. You're fine. In the meantime, we can talk about Joseph's great underwriting he did a couple of days ago.
I know we need to post that somewhere. That was a good Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't posted that yet?
It's in a Google Drive, but
Yeah. I wanted to touch upon that because those of you who missed the underwriting Zoom that Joseph hosted was amazing. Oh, the Myth the Legends here. You guys missed that Zoom that Joseph did on underwriting. It was amazing. Like he took a deal and walked through everything from A to Z on a higher level, not too deep underwriting, but he went through T12s, rent rolls, and the offering memorandum. So if you guys missed that, make sure you ping one of us and let us know how you can get that replay.
Here's the man himself.
Mr. Myron. Yes, that Zoom was recorded. We have it in a Google Drive that we can post.
We were just going over what our roles are, kind of introducing who we are as a team. Tyler asked, who are you guys? What do you guys do?
Tyler, what's up, man? Him and I chatted for a little bit.
So what do you do?
I do some different things, but I'm really focusing on some underwriting, like napkin underwriting. I'll kind of get contracts together. I'll send LOIs. I like kind of doing that paperwork. And Systems. So we're working on. Did you already bring that up about systems?
No.
Okay,
We're
we'll
waiting
do, we'll
for
do
you.
that later. But yeah, that's kind of that's the nutshell. I mean, I think this is still a discovery phase. Like we're trying to pin it down. We're trying to pin it down, and we're learning about ourselves and we're learning about each other more and more as we go.
Yeah. I think our roles will continue to evolve the more we get into the weeds of what is multifamily and everything. So right now, I think we're working on like the core things that we really need to focus on as far as like keeping the team moving in the right direction. So I know larger responsibilities and much more challenging things will be presented to us as we move down the line with this.
Yeah, 100%. And so, Myron, I know you had a few things that you wanted to go over with today's Zoom. I know you were brainstorming some ideas. So, can you share what you want to go over for this particular live that we're doing today?
Yeah, I think it's pretty pertinent because a lot of people might be getting leads right now. And Carolyn and I went to go look at a property here in Dallas. It was a 66 unit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a 66 unit, and we got asked some questions and maybe treated a certain way. And I was like, Oscar, they said, do you guys have any other questions? And I'm like, I should have about 30 questions right now, but I don't. And so I'm like, I need to get a lot better. I need to get a lot better at doing that walkthrough. And funny enough, Oscar had just gone through, had done some walkthroughs, and I wanted
Same day. Yeah.
the same day. I wanted Oscar to kind of go over some of the things that he learned and the things that he saw during those walkthroughs. Is that okay, Oscar?
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely touch up on a few things, and maybe we can do like a just on that topic for a future live or a future Zoom on everything that we went through. But yeah, I'll definitely touch up on some highlights. Some of the things that we went through on some of these property walkthroughs is it was a chance for someone like us or like me to really just observe and learn from someone who's more experienced in actually doing multifamily. So one of the things that we did when we got to the property is we met the broker, right, and we chatted with them. But at the same time, I was brand new to it, so I didn't know what to do. So I was observing everything, and immediately when they got there, is they started talking amongst each other, and so the conversation went a little bit like this. They got there, they introduced each other, shook their hands, and blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? And then they introduced everyone to the property management on site. And so we got to talk to the property management and meet them in person. And it's good to be able to talk to the property management because they're the ones who actually know what's happening on the property daily. So instead of asking the broker these questions, you're asking the horse, right? You're asking the real people in charge. And the things that you want to ask the property broker is everything that you asked the broker before, but it's like you're going to get the real answers here. Like, what's the occupancy rate, right? What's the what kind of renovations have you guys done? All these things that the broker has told you over the phone, you can verify with them, and you can get actual real answers, and you can see it because they're going to show you, right? You can ask questions like, can we see a unit that you guys recently renovated? Can we see, one of the units that you guys lease out? Just ask them questions as if I guess you were a new tenant, right? If you were someone new and you're looking at a particular property, one of the things that you want to do as a new tenant or future tenant is go check out a property, like go check out a unit, right? Can I go see one of the units that you have available? And go look at it and be like, what are you guys, like if I'm a new tenant, I'm going to ask what the rent rate is, right, for this particular model or whatever you call it, floor plan. And I'm going to ask those questions. Can I see this floor plan? Can I see that floor plan? And so those were some of the few things that you can do, thinking of it from a future resident standpoint. You can ask those questions right then and there. So I hope that helps, Myron. That's a little bit of kind of what we saw when we were going there. And obviously they toured us around the property and they told us some of the things that they were working on.
What is, can you give us like one tidbit that you're like, kind of blew your mind? Like, oh man, I didn't think of that. Man, that's a good question. Or that's a good, whatever.
Piece of information.
Yeah. Advice.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're looking at, depending on the property, right? But we were looking at a Class C property and it was recently renovated, right? And one of the questions that blew my mind was asking the property management, what is your number one maintenance problem on this property? And immediately they told us what that was. And in that case, it was the plumbing. So
Fire question.
yeah, fire question for sure. And that told us immediately what was going on in that particular property. They were saying that they had that issue come up at least like once or twice a month.
Wow.
That was fire, Myron.
So is that like a red flag? I mean, it sounds like a red flag.
Sounds like a huge red
If you're
flag.
having plumbing issues once or twice a month.
Yeah, and the way I think about it is it kind of tells you where they spent their money on the renovation, right? I mean, if they knew that the plumbing is an issue, then maybe that for you as a potential buyer can tell you you're going to have to budget capex for your plumbing, right? And they told us
What's
right then and
CapEx?
there. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a good question.
Capital expenditures, meaning anything that you'll budget for repairs for like a new roof or plumbing or electrical, anything like that. So if you're a new buyer, you got a budget for your renovations that falls under the capital expenditures. So
Essentially, your renovation budget.
exactly. And they told us, the property was built in the 60s. So a lot of the plumbing was still the old cast iron. And if you guys know anything about cast iron, it'll deteriorate, right? It like, what you call it, like it corrodes.
Right.
So they were saying that they were replacing it with new PVC piping. And it was only as they came. So it wasn't like, scheduled or anything. It was like, as they come, we replace it.
Wow.
So they're just repairing if they have to, because
They know.
because they're selling their property. If they went ahead and dumped a bunch of money into that repair, their NOI would not look so great, right? So they're deferring and deferring and deferring, kicking the can until they have to pick up the can, basically.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. But that was probably one of the biggest takeaways, the best question I heard asking a property management.
That's awesome.
What was like the most intimidating thing, or what was the thing that like threw you off most that you like had not Carlos been there, you wouldn't know how to handle? Was there anything that like you were unsure of?
Yeah, great question. So I think for me, it wasn't more or less intimidating. I think, okay, so let me put it this way. I'm glad someone there with experience was there, because yes, I know about properties, but I don't know about fix and flip. Like I don't know any of that, right? So there was a few partners that were there that they knew everything about fix and flip. So they were budgeting it out already in their head on what it's going to cost. So that was one of the biggest takeaways too, is having the right people with you to go tour these properties, right? And this is a Class C, this is a value add. So this is exactly what the property needed. It needed the renovation to be fixed and finished. I'm sorry, to be finished is what it needed. And so you wanted someone like that on your team so they can tell you, here's what you're looking for, or here's what you're looking at when it comes to CapEx. So that was a big one. If I didn't have that, I probably would have felt intimidated.
So what was the, like for that particular property or one of them, like what was the renovation budget looking like? Like what was the unit count first? And what was the renovation budget looking like?
I think the unit count was over 50. I don't remember exactly how much. But I'll tell you what they were budgeting per unit. They were budgeting anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 per unit.
How much?
So 2,500, 2,500 to $3,000 per unit. And so you ask the property management, what exactly does that look like? What does that cover? And a lot of times it was just flooring and a few light fixtures.
Mhm.
Right.
So now you get to find out what kind of renovation they were doing.
Very, very cosmetic, superficial,
Looks-
enough to get you by.
Yep, exactly. Great question.
Wow.
Bringing in the heat, Oscar. I love it.
For real. We need some fires in the chat.
The property Myron and I walked the same day that you went, Oscar. It was very, yeah, like he said, it was a 66 unit, and we got to visit a non-renovated unit and then a renovated unit. And the non-renovated unit had been lived in for the past 7 years, and they had just put in new flooring. I think they may have cleaned the no, they put in new carpets.
New carpets.
It was
Yeah.
still like an outdated kitchen. It was a 3-bedroom apartment, which I wasn't expecting at all. But you could tell that it had been lived in. Like there was like smells of smoke and just like, the residue of someone living in a home for 7 years and not really taking care of it. And they had made some good progress on it. And then we went and visited a new unit, which looked a lot better. And the kitchen was much more like modern, updated, and everything like that. I think they even they coated the bathtub to make it look, nice and white, of course. But we looked down at the moldings, and there was like a huge hole in the moldings. There was like it had been chewed up either by a dog, maybe it was a rodent, who even knows, but they didn't even replace that. They just coated it up with paint. And it was yeah, your kitchen looks great, but I don't want a hole in my molding. Molding is inexpensive and such an easy thing to do. And it just shows where obviously they want to put your eyes on the big things that matter, of course, but it's just interesting to see exactly where their mindset is at when they're renovating these properties and what they're skipping over just for, nickels and dimes, essentially. I don't know.
So we asked them, I hadn't talked to Oscar about, hey, what is the biggest maintenance issue? I kind of asked that on my own accord, is what are you normally seeing? What's the biggest issue here? And they said parking. We desperately need somebody to reconfigure the parking lot because people are parking out all the way out of the complex in the street.
Yeah, on the side of the street. Mm-hmm.
There's so many cars. There's too many cars than there are spaces. So I'm just thinking, okay, well, that to me means paid parking. Get preferred parking spots. Hey, this is reserved for this person, right?
You can see that as two different things, like you said, Myron. You can see it as an opportunity, or you can see it as a red flag, right? If it's a red flag, it's probably because there's a lot of people there who don't live at that complex that are parking there, right? Or you can see it as an opportunity and say, I can do paid parking, and that'll eliminate a lot of these people to get out of my spots. But yeah, you're right. No, sorry, go ahead. That was a good one.
Actually, I'm sorry. I think I was done, but
No,
that's what they said.
That's a great point, though. You need to look at things when you're at properties and when you're evaluating, even if you're not at the property, maybe you're looking at it on virtual or you're just assessing through the OM, what is going on here? Or maybe you talk to the broker and they're giving you the scoop of what the parking is really crazy and they park all over the place, blah, blah, blah. It's you have to think of, okay, that initially sounds like a red flag, but you also have to think about like we said, what is the potential value add opportunity there? How are we maybe to turn that into money? How do we monetize that? How do we make the grounds, make the property better, more appealing, but also turn a profit on it as well? So I think that's a really important note, actually, that you brought up. And I didn't exactly think about that either when we were there either. But it's a great point to don't just toss it in the trash thinking like, oh, that's a red flag. I don't want to deal with that in a property. Think about like, what are the other solutions here that would make this more appealing and more profitable? Myron said something the other night when he was doing like an upside equation for someone. And he's like, find ways to make money and find ways to save money. And it was like such an important line. Like you have to think about that every time you go through these multifamily properties and evaluating them. Yeah. That's my
Love it.
sense.
No, that was good. No, I like everything that you said.
Yeah.
Same here.
Value add any vehicles over the amount.
So like Tyler's saying, maybe the tenant has allotment of 2 vehicles. What are the license plates? Okay, we're going to be monitoring the parking lot. If we see a car that's been there for 5 days or more than 2 days, whatever it is, we're gonna tow it out of here. And in Dallas, that's not something. That's something that happens. Oops, I clicked on something. But people here in Dallas get towed.
Oh yeah.
We've been towed one time.
Just once.
Us too.
We learned our
It's
lesson.
not fun.
No, it's not.
It's like the worst feeling in the world, honestly.
Especially when you tell them not to park there.
When your heart drops, when you're like, did my car get stolen? Or like, where did it go?
Yep.
Wi-Fi
I'll
package.
ask another question. He asked if Wi-Fi is installed on the property or if the tenant is paying that. And I assume by the question he's asking if we charge them for the Wi-Fi or they're doing that their own.
That's a good question. I think
So
it would really depend.
You would see that on
Online.
the T12 most likely.
Yeah.
You can definitely see that in the financials, like Joseph said, I've seen just out of my own experience looking for properties that some properties will include that as part of the rent. So it really just depends on the property itself. I think every situation is different, but there's some of the lower end Class C units that do all bills included, and we've seen that before in T12s. Where they're paying for everything in order to promote the property or get it back up to 100% occupancy. They'll throw in promotions like that. Now, is it smart? I don't know. It just depends. But I typically would not want to do all bills included. That's just me, though. But again, every property is different.
Do you think it depends on the asset class?
Yeah, 100%. I typically see that in Class C buildings, maybe where they're having trouble when they cleaned up a property. Say maybe it was a distressed property and they're cleaning it up, then they want to attract people, so they'll do promotions like that, and they'll have people get in there. But yeah, I typically see it in building class like C's, but I never see anything higher than that.
Interesting. Cool. Anything else about walkthroughs that we noticed? We can move on to our next thing we want to talk about.
Did anybody have a question? Or should we wait till the end? You tell me.
We can wait. We're just rolling along. Let's answer questions as we go.
What's up, Derek?
He's still
Derek's
here.
our guy. Derek.
Heck yeah. Hi, Derek.
What up?
All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about on our live here. So great. Systems.
Myron's the man.
So right now, I'm just going to give a rundown of quickly what we do. We put leads into Podio, which Joseph is our Podio whiz kid. Yeah. Seriously, he's like, what do you want to do? Okay, done. I wasn't even done saying the sentence. Yeah. So he gets it done real quick, and we want to upgrade. Not that it's wrong, but like, how can we do things more efficient? Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I was
for
going to
sure.
say is how can we get more efficient? And so I've been brainstorming, and I've asked everybody on the team, like, brainstorm ideas and how can we get a little bit better, and maybe talk to other people that have been doing this. So if you are in the audience tonight and you are doing great at systems and doing great with multifamily, I'd love to talk with you. Anybody here would love to talk with you, but maybe I'd like to just hear from the team, like, what are some things that you're seeing that you'd love to see get automated, do quicker, do faster? What are you all liking to see? KJ.
I think being able to see the process all in one spot, like when I don't know, I guess because I'm a visual person, like I want to see in order, oh, Myron sent an LOI, oh, so and so needs to be followed up with, like some type of, I don't know how to explain it. I'm very bad at like spitting out what's in my brain, but I definitely see like there's a lot of room for more potential. I think it's also because we're getting a lot more leads. We're having a lot more to do, and that's what's making it a lot more harder. It kind of shows the flaws and things that we have set up, like us making broker calls. That could be so much better. The way we're keeping track of that. And there was something else. I'm sure it'll come back to me, but there's just little things that, like, it's not bad. It works, but it could be way better. Like if we had something, which we have something in the works, that's going to automate everything, but like sending text messages, sending emails, sending reminders to brokers, being able to see the whole process of everything in your face, where I can see what everybody's hands are in and what they're working on, instead of like, man, like who's doing what needs to be done. It's like, what am I missing? Like I always feel like I'm letting something like fall through the cracks, and I don't like that feeling. So I think that, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and pretty much all of those concerns or questions so far, those have already are going to be addressed based on my conversation I had with Al, or with Eric and Al the other day. So that should all be getting addressed. It's just until then, now, right? So that's pretty much where we're at. So I honestly, I wouldn't stress about that side of it too much. We do not have any VAs, Tyler. We do not. It is just the 6 of us. We're calling brokers directly. I think if anyone, if anything, right, what we would need or are looking for is a way to source direct to seller leads on these apartment buildings. How could we get to them before they go to the broker, before they get a broker involved? How can we talk directly with these people and potentially get more seller finance deals? Those are awesome. I love seller finance. So I think that is the big question. So if there's anybody out there, this is the sign. Hit us up. We're looking to find direct to seller leads.
Just spent 3 hours trying to integrate Podio in our client and my buyers. Yes. Well, you need to talk to this dude for our reply. He might have some tips for you. But I think.
What did you say, Joseph?
I was just saying it is a lot of work. Yeah, 3 hours. that's pretty quick, to be honest. It probably took me longer than that to get started.
Yeah. I think for me, kind of in the same line of what KJ and Joseph said, is like we have things like we're still very grassroots in our own way. Like we're still familiarizing ourselves with all the things multifamily, but we also have like a really good team here that can like do chunks and like delegate what we need to do. As far as like what KJ and I and Oscar focus on primarily is like the broker outreach and everything like that. We have like something for broker. We literally work out of an Excel sheet. This is very like, you know, the beginning days of wholesaling and you have to do everything for free type of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with it until it just becomes extinct. You know what I mean? Like you outgrow it and you need to have a better way of setting up the system. So for me, it's like, okay, we do broker outreach over here on our Excel sheet, and then we have our leads in our Podio, and then we have our email, and it like it's all chunked out in separate places. And I would love just like this nice put together spot where we can like get reminders and have like a visual layout, like what KJ was saying. I'm a visual person too. I need to like see what's going on. So
definitely.
like something to have our broker outreach in our system. And then we can like directly flow that into our leads. Like this broker sent us this lead, it goes right here. And what's the next step? We need to send LOIs, or we need to underwrite it, or we need a proof of funds. And like, there's the section for that. And just, you know, I'm a very visual aesthetic person. So having something like that set up would be awesome. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but
I think also it's like it's a little different. Like we can't just go to any regular wholesale built out system because multifamily is its own thing. So I think that's where we struggle is like we had to figure out, well, it's kind of like starting over all over again, like with wholesale. Like we're starting from scratch, but with multifamily. So it's like, okay, well, we need to figure out what the process even looks like first. Like you can't just build out a system if you don't know what the process looks like. And figuring that out took us time to actually do the process. We're like, okay, let's do the first step and then see what happens next. And then we're like, okay, now what's next? And then we kind of just like went along as we did. And then we're like, okay, maybe we need people here. Maybe we need something here. And I mean, that's kind of how we figured it, or that's how I'm sure you guys did the same thing when you first learned wholesaling. It's just by taking action and then like, oh, wait a minute, that's not how it goes. Or wait a minute, I need help here, or I need something here. And it's like, you don't really know until you do it. And
yeah,
I think now we're to the point where like, okay, we know what we need. Now we need something to make it a lot better now that we know what kind of process we have to do. So we have something in the works. We're just waiting on it.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
To Barbara's point, like it's not just you, it's us too. Like we're a team and we're doing it. So I think that if you're thinking about doing multifamily, like don't let all the beautiful systems and everything being perfect stop you, because we're kicking ass over here with an Excel spreadsheet. So like just keep going and, you know, you'll evolve and grow into bigger and better things. So yeah. What about you, Oscar?
No, I think you guys pretty much covered everything, right? I think the biggest issue is or I would say the biggest thing that we are working on it. And Joseph said it'll all be fixed, but it's the follow-ups. That's it. 100%. But again, it's in the works, so we'll get that squared away.
System's already on the way. To be continued.
I love that. Okay. That will be a whole nother segment in our lives.
What is the next agenda item?
I think one last thought on systems
Shoot.
is finding the best brokers to find the best deals, right? And you find those like superstar people who know exactly what you're looking for, that get you and get who you are, have them do that work. So you're not So that grind kind of goes away. Joseph, yes, direct to seller is best, right? Because you can negotiate the hell out of it, right? You don't have that broker to be that, I don't want to say wall, but
Block.
a block, yeah. They're blocking, obstacle, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's way better than what I was gonna say.
I don't know. I'd love to see, like, talk to us in another 3 months, because here we are 3 months later, right? See where we are and how that looks. So I'm excited for how our systems look in another 3 months. But
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a kind of a funny point, is like building out these relationships with brokers is very similar to building out relationships with wholesalers. Like, you don't necessarily want thousands of wholesalers. I mean, maybe that's the initial run of it, of doing your outreach, but you want to boil down to like that core group of people you're doing business with and who know what you want or know that they get paid and all this type of stuff. It's the same thing with brokers. It's like a unicorn broker. You want
Right.
them to be working well with you, to understand what you can accomplish, what value you can bring. I mean, I was on the phone with a broker and talking about the creative deal we just structured in Corpus Christi. And he was like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing deal. What a great deal. That's such awesome terms. How did you do it? Da, 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 da. And it's like, this is what we do. This is how we structure. Obviously, there was no broker involved, but like the broker got paid. You know what I mean? Like, you got to sweeten the pot a little bit and tell them that they're still getting paid, even if it's a terms deal. They're always worried about their money and commissions. And sure, okay, but we can still structure the hell out of a deal on terms and get you paid. So yeah, it's just finding those like unicorn brokers who want to do business with us.
And then staying on top of them.
Yeah.
Keeping in touch, the follow-ups. The
Like
follow-ups are
sellers. Just like sellers.
Yeah, it is. It's serious follow-up game. And agents and brokers don't want to answer their phones either. So
That's
nobody
funny.
wants to get paid today. Okay, that's fine.
The last thing I want to talk about or bring up, Joseph did a, what's the word, baller, amazing, just knocked it out of the park on an underwriting Zoom.
These guys are just buttering me up here.
You did amazing.
No, dude, it was.
You did.
Like
I was, wow.
I feel like Ayoni right now. I'm uncomfortable with the praise.
You integrators.
Be in a receiving mode, right? So
just bring it to me.
When his electricity went out, I was like, oh God, wait a minute. He's on a roll. And so like, I don't want to put pressure on him, but like, we like, well, let's do this every week. Let's pick a deal. Let's do something every single week. And I think lots of questions came up, and I think it's something we should do every week. So Joseph, when are we going to do that? What day and what time? And what does that look like?
I think I liked Friday. Friday is not bad. I guess we really need to just determine, do we want to do this as a morning call or should we do this in the evening? Is really what we need to figure out. But I'm definitely down to do something like that, once a week.
I think we should switch it up though, because we have our other live on Friday.
Okay.
Well,
I honestly, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, we could do, what's today, Monday? We can just do this Monday.
Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah, Mondays and Fridays.
You get to start the week with us and end the week with us.
Yeah, and we can definitely set it up as kind of like a study hall Q&A type session where you have the opportunity, hey, this is a scheduled time. We'll be there to underwrite deals or answer any questions, whatever it is that you may have at the moment. I say we should dedicate at least, hour and a half worth of time to that on on Monday. And I think evening time would probably be better. That way we still have our working day. And this is just more extra time that we're using to push ourselves to be better.
I like that.
So I think let's lock that in.
Cool.
Let's lock that in for Monday. Let's do
Monday.
Honestly, I'm good with this time. I'm rock solid with this time. 5:30 Arizona time.
It's a rock star. Joseph is a rock star.
Cool.
Hey, well, you know what, guys? I learned from both of y'all, from you two and the young man. I didn't know anything about underwriting 3 months ago. Zero.
And now you're on fire.
It's amazing what the growth is for each and every one of us in just a short amount of time, especially in a daunting space as multifamily. Everyone's like, what do you like? You kind of just want to skip the page on what the hell multifamily is and what are you getting into, but like it gets a little easier, like even broker calls.
Yeah, and definitely take these opportunities to put cheat codes into your life, right? After that call, I think Myron said it best. Me and him had a little conversation. He was kind of hyping me up some more. Basically said that, dude, you basically saved all these people watching 3 months worth of time and effort and trial and error, because what we went over in that underwriting Zoom was pretty much the summation of the 3 months that we've been working on this, and just different tips and tricks that I've learned picking it up here and there. So absolutely cheat off your neighbor. Go find someone doing what you want to do and just copy them 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're doing. We paid for it. So if you can find a free resource out there, it's probably a good start.
Absolutely. And when you get stuck, you know where to come.
I think maybe 10 people asked me for that recording, at least.
Yeah.
And I sent it out.
Awesome. Oh yeah.
We need to post it.
It was a good Zoom. Oh yeah, we can post it in sub 2 as well. And then we could post it in the creative financing group.
That's awesome.
Put some fires in the chat.
I know, we need some hype up in here.
For real. What's going on, guys?
Who's watching? I see like 14 people are on.
Yeah, does
Oh, there you
anybody
go.
have any questions?
Victor with the fire.
We got some fire in the chat.
Yes.
Victor.
Oh, he's watching us on YouTube. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Most of the people are
Oh, there
coming.
you go.
Oh, hi everybody.
What's up, Brad?
Oh, we got my man Zach McQueen in the house.
Queen.
We got Barbara Christie. We got El Chino.
Love it.
Lots of love here today, guys. Lots of
We got
love.
Tyler.
Thank you for showing us love, guys.
We got Jason. Would we be able to post the link, or where can we direct everyone where we're going to post the Zoom link? Because I see another comment in the chat wanting Joseph's super popular
I
Zoom.
think what we should do, guys, is all of these videos and recordings that we put together, I think we should just create a Google Drive link, and then add that Google Drive link with all the resources to our.
You're thinking with your noggin. I like it.
I think that was a little visionary coming out there, but I think that's what we should do. That way, it's same link for everything. You just
Okay, that was good. I like that.
That way, we're not having to post it everywhere. Just say,
So
here's the. Go find what you want.
We have a link tree. I think if you go to my Instagram page, there's a link that you can click on, and it has our virtual office, our YouTube channels, resources that we have. We'll add more resources. So we'll add those videos and all the other multifamily resources now that Joseph came up with that brilliant idea.
Our multifamily library.
Yes. I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think that would be super beneficial for not only us, but everyone else.
Yeah, that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Man, we got to have another underwriting session for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
This time we're gonna make KJ lead.
I stay in my lane, okay? I'm good at talking to brokers.
He is. Y'all should hear on the phones. Oh, that's another thing. For those of y'all that don't know, KJ and Oscar have done a live broker calls. I'm sure that will be, continuing on probably at least once a
Myron
week.
and Oscar did too.
There you go. Live
Yeah, there
broker
should be
calls.
multiple.
Yeah.
Some good ones to sit in on.
Yeah, we gotta do that again, actually.
Yeah.
Because I had some people ask me, how do we get financials, period, right? And so I did a quick live with Myron on how to get financials from a broker. And Myron, how long did it take me to get financials for that property?
It was literally one question. Hey, can I get financials? And he said, sure, what's your email? Sorry, it was hilarious because it's so like daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like and Oscar, you guys know Oscar, like super smooth dude. But it was really that easy. I think it was very beneficial, Oscar, because we had maybe 6 or 7 newer people on that Zoom with you making calls. And a lot of them were like making excuses not to do it, but right, like you showed them how easy it was. So it was amazing. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help people out. Victor says, what KPIs are you guys tracking?
And honestly, Victor, that is a fantastic question. And unfortunately, I don't think that we are tracking very much in the way that we should be.
I think we have become a lot more aware of where our shit needs to be tracked. I know we have a goal of LOIs that are sent out per week. We have a goal of broker calls that are made per person per day ish, and what that should look like by the end of the week at least. Oh my gosh, what else? Lender calls. So I think LOIs per week are a minimum of 5.
And I think we almost hit that today.
Myron sent out 4
Oh,
LOIs
yeah.
just today.
Oh, yeah.
There's no excuses. 5 is a piece of cake. I think that will quickly be ramped up to 10 at least a week.
We basically have these target goals that we are supposed to hit daily and weekly. And so far, we've been hitting them. And to add an additional on top of that question, we will be getting that, like I said, that system coming in. And that is one of the things that will help us do, is to track that more efficiently and have a spot where we can visually see and keep track of it.
Okay. Talking to brokers is easy once you know what you are saying. Yeah. And
Definitely.
even when you don't know what you're saying, even literally what you don't know what you're saying, it's kind of like that phrase that Pace says, like, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Like, I was talking out my butt today on something and it worked totally fine. Like, I was on the phone for 20 minutes. He's going to be sending us properties. Super awesome guy. Like, it works.
Definitely.
So to answer Barbara's question, which is here on the screen, I'm not entirely sure what you're asking, but I will answer what I believe that you're asking. So the first part, any suggestions looking for remote multifamily? I assume you're just looking for, how do we find these properties when we're doing it all virtually? Well, everything that we do is completely virtually. Of course, yes, they have gone and walked the property because it was close to them. Mm-hmm. But everything we do is virtual. KJ and I are in Arizona right now, and we are calling Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and other states as well. So all we do is hop on LoopNet and call brokers and just make the relationships. That's pretty much where it comes in for that. In the incident where we would need to go to the property, we would just fly there. Let's go there. I mean, it's a $1 million deal. That's the minimum that we look for, right? $1 million deal. I mean, would you not fly the property?
I would get
Right.
on a plane
Yeah.
tonight.
Get on a plane ASAP to go check it out if we need to. That's done deal. We're there.
But I think we would need to send an LOI and get that LOI accepted and get a property under contract. And then at that point, when it's in the inspection period is when I would deem it worth going and flying on a plane. But like if there's no LOI sent, there's no acceptance letter from them, there's no contract, then I definitely wouldn't fly out there.
Yes, that's correct. You should be able to get everything you need before actually going to the property. You should know that this is a good deal and I want to buy this deal before you ever have to actually go to the property. You should be able to figure all that out beforehand.
Yep.
And I guess this leads into Crystal's question here. Would you recommend leveraging the property manager for a percentage if we lack business credit? Does anybody want to take a crack at that? Because I can answer it in a way I would say.
Dude, I think you've been doing great, man.
Okay. So I would say leverage us, man. Like we will absolutely help you out in regards to getting it. I'm not entirely sure what it is that you would be trying to leverage them for, but if it's to get credibility for a loan, well, we're about to close on a 30-unit building, as well as we have sponsors that would back us up in a deal. So we already have the leverage that you would need in order to get a loan or for any other reason. Now, specifically leveraging the property manager, I'm not entirely sure what it is you're asking. If you could elaborate a little bit more.
Is sending an LOI as simple as a text, or is it more than that?
I think that's a good Myron answer.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Myron, do you send a text?
No, I guess I could, but we make it a little bit more.
Give a formal answer.
Well, Tyler and I aren't formal. Tyler, like we. Okay, here's what happened. We were dealing with a lot of wholesalers, and they were asking us to send all these different LOIs. They would provide us with the LOIs, and I think what happened is we picked one that we liked and we just started using it. So we have a non-binding LOI that we make up. It's through PDF, and it used to say 3% buyer's fee. Now it does not.
It says 0.
You don't pay 3% buyer's fee.
I have a big red line or
a strike through.
But no, Tyler, yeah, there's an official PDF that you want to send, because especially if you're speaking with the type of brokers that you want to speak with, it needs to look
professional.
Yeah, it needs to be professional, because they're going to ask you for certain things like like proof of funds, bank statements, a bio, all those things. You want to be. This is not a realtor in your backyard. This
isn't Elephant Challenge, submit an offer on your phone type of thing. Yeah.
By the way, I like the Elephant Challenge, by the way, I like it, but because it's getting people out of their comfort zone. So like what you're asking, how do you send an LOI? That's amazing, man. I love it. Talk to any of us later, but talk to me later, and I'll walk you through that. No problem at all. Okay, Joel.
What types of multifamily property is good for a cash offer?
All of them.
Where are you getting that cash, bro?
No, I'm just kidding. More often than not, you're going to need a lender for these properties. You're going to need to get a lender to cover it, and they'll usually cover anywhere from 60 to 80% loan to value, depending on what kind of lender you get. So yes, it would look like a cash offer to the seller, but you still have to go get a loan for it, whether you're raising the money or getting a lender.
Just like hard money.
Yes.
Most I let them know I own single family, but I've not bought a property with 20 students. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of them can be fairly pleasant on the phone or understanding. They just want to know that you're not wasting their time.
Yeah.
They
And
want their fee. At the end of the day, that's all they care about is their freaking fee. And they don't want to go bird dogging stuff. KJ had a fun conversation today about that. And yeah, other than that, like,
Is that what they said, KJ?
yeah,
In a nutshell, I mean,
he's
Carolyn
good.
could catch you up on that one.
Yeah, he was the snake, but
KJ handled it very well.
yes, it was great.
That was interesting.
This is I think the elaboration of the last question that Crystal had. Leverage them so it's less hands-on for me since I would need property management on site anyway.
okay, so are you saying leveraging them to own a percentage of the property? Because the way they would work is they get paid a percentage of the profit. I don't have an exact percentage. I know I've heard generally between 8 and 15%, somewhere around that. So that's how the property management would get paid. They would get paid out of the earned income of the property. So they would be another expense. So you would underwrite that into your underwriting.
That's a continuation from Myron. Thank you, Myron.
Preferred pick of interest, or if it's a formal intro. It's a formal intro.
I disagree. I think the broker call is your formal intro. You know, I mean, I think you want it to be. Well, maybe okay. Back up. So the broker call is introducing yourself, and then maybe the bio and XYZ would be your formal intro. But the LOI is sometimes there's like I could probably give you 5 different answers right now about what an LOI can do, but it's kind of like getting your foot in the door, basically.
But I guess where I'm understanding it is, would you present that formally, or would you present that
formally? Because you always want to present yourself as a professional.
Yes. You wouldn't just type it up in an email. You would have your document. You would have your everything, your verbiage, your vernacular, whatever, your numbers in place, and present a well-written letter of intent for the property.
An LOI looks like a contract, but it's a non-binding contract. It looks exactly like a contract.
I get it. I'm sorry. Okay. An LOI, yes. KJ, okay, I get it now. So the LOI is like an offering. You're offering a price or terms or whatever that is. Your bio is a different attachment, maybe.
Yeah. So an LOI, from my understanding, is just like to get your foot in the door, to show your interest, and to hopefully start the negotiations.
You can still change the price later on during either an inspection period, or maybe they said something or told you one thing, or maybe they gave you some specific numbers and you find out that it's not true, or something else happened, or maybe there's an unexpected expense. There is still negotiating later on after the LOI. It is not a binding, this is the price I'm paying. You're just saying, this is kind of the ballpark of where I'm at. Are we in the same playing field? Do you accept kind of where we're at? And then negotiations continue further. It's basically the verbal agreement, so to speak, until you can really get down and dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? I guess we just jumped into the Q&A, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did kind of just jump into Q&A, but I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, Tyler.
So we have it on for record. Perfect. Thank you for the clarification. It's the first presentation of an offer. An introduction has already been made. Am I following correctly? Yep.
Yes.
Small business using SBA 7A class. This feels like an Oscar question.
so,
Wait, do you know what it is, Oscar, though?
I believe SB. I'm not sure. Okay, so SB, I think, is a loan of some sort.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Small business something.
I've never. I don't know about that, Crystal. To answer your question, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Maybe you can teach us.
More research will be done.
We are still students of the game. We're just really good students.
We try to be.
We're just teaching as we become better students.
Yeah, good question though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions? That's what we're here for on Q&A right now. Questions on multifamily?
I have a scenario more than I do a question. I had a student, a sub-2 student, come to me today, and they asked me, how can I underwrite this deal? And they're brand spanking new, like they don't know anything. What would you say, Myron or Joseph, whichever one wants to take it? What would you say if someone came up to you and said, I don't know how to underwrite this deal? What do I need to do?
The question is, they don't know how to underwrite. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
So if it is a deal that you've been working on and you already have the 3 important documents, which is a OM, which is the offering memorandum, or a T12, which is the trailing 12 months, and a rent roll. If you have those 3 documents, then I would say reach out to one of us directly or pop into that underwriting Zoom that we just set up for Monday evening, 5:30 weekly.
Arizona
So,
time.
Arizona time, yeah, 5:30 Arizona time. So 7:30 Central Standard. I hate all these time zones. But yeah, that is what I would do. I would reach out. If you can't wait, if this is like, I need this right now, call one of us. I'm sure we'd be willing to help. But the for sure, definite, you can get some help Monday evening, 5:30 Arizona time, 7:30 Central Standard. Pop in there, and we can definitely help you out with that.
Perfect. How do you evaluate a vacant commercial space in multifamily complex? Are you talking about like a retail space underneath? That's what I'm assuming that Victor's asking. This is a good question. I'm going to give you my quick answer, or what I think it is, and then maybe someone has a better answer for this. But I think you treat it just the same as you would anybody else paying rent at that particular property, because it is just a lease that you're renting out to that person who's there. So as long as you know what the going market for a lease for a person to be renting out down there, I think you treat it just the exact same way as you would anybody else renting a unit in your property.
Yes, I would agree with that. And you want to find out if it's a triple net lease or not. And if it's a warehouse building, I have heard, this is not my experience, but I've heard you can do it by the square foot instead. But if it's a retail building, I would go with what Oscar said.
Joel says, is Section 8 value add and a big moneymaker in multifamily? So I don't know much about Section 8, so I'm not going to pretend to be the go-to for this one. The only thing that I do know is that you would have to check the regulations against Section 8 on how much you can increase the rent, because there's only a certain amount that you can increase it that the government will allow you to. So you have to keep that in mind when you're doing your underwriting on Section 8.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Zach.
Hold on, I need to take a photo of that. Got it.
Gotta get the receipts.
Love it.
Let's throw out another scenario. KJ, let's do something here real quick. Do you still get nervous when you call brokers?
Not really. I think I've finally mastered like most of my rebuttals. I still get tripped up here and there and I get a little nervous, but I also remind myself that if I mess up, well, one of you guys can call them. It's like if I mess up and make myself look bad or say something that like discredits me, it's like, well, it's okay. You guys can go be someone else and talk to them and act like I'm not part of it. So that in the back of my head kind of is like, go make mistakes, go take action. Like, don't be scared. Because I think when you're scared and have that mindset that you are going to mess up and then you're not going to say the things you shouldn't. So I think you need to be in the right mindset to, what's the word? Can't think of the word, to like accept these things coming in. Like if you're closed off already, like being scared and things like that, like you can't expect good things to come. And honestly, I remember when me and you first started making calls and I waited like a whole day before I wanted to make calls. I just wanted to watch Oscar. I was like so terrified. And then the next
Let me
day,
ask you a question. How did you overcome that fear? Because there's somebody out there right now watching this Zoom or this live, and they're probably wanting to do broker calls, but they're nervous or they're scared. What can you give them as a tip as to go ahead and start doing it?
I think I was just like, you know what? Like, I can either sit here and be scared or like I can pick up the phone and become a millionaire. So I was like, which one do I want? I don't want to sit here and be broke. I want to pick up the phone and become a millionaire. So I was like, the only way I'm going to learn is by doing it. So I was like, it's going to be uncomfortable. Honestly, I think this whole process since we've started together, all of it is constantly growing pains, constantly a new thing that we're learning, something else that we've learned or another hurdle we've gone through or another person that kind of like didn't do us right. And we're like, okay, now we know, don't work with these kind of people. It just took us to go through these things. But it's like, if I was scared, would I even be where I am right now? Like, would I have learned all of those things? Like, no matter what you do in life, you're gonna go through stuff. So it's like, if you just have the mindset of like, I can get through these things no matter how many times I fall, it's gonna make me stronger. I'm gonna get back up. Well, it's like, who cares? Either way, I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna try again. So I think having that mindset and being like, you know what, I am a badass. I am gonna become a millionaire. I own all of these properties. I'm gonna come and buy this property from you. And sometimes like brokers try to trip you up and like talk down to you. And then like when you check them with your knowledge, it just feels good. It feels good to be like, I finally learned all of this and I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not just some wholesaler calling you that's going to waste your time. Like, I'm ready to put an offer in and like match their energy too. Like, if someone's going to talk to you a certain way, like I level up with them and they're just like, oh, like, I'm not going to let you walk over me. So I think coming in with confidence and then taking the time to learn it and then also just taking action. And if you mess up, well, chances are they're probably not going to remember you if you call them 2 weeks later. So I wouldn't overthink about it.
Just do it, like Nike.
Either stay broke or become a millionaire. That was her advice.
Yeah. And to be honest, that is literally what went through her head. She told me the exact same story, like the very next.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Barbara says, I've missed out on 2 great opportunities because of needing a sponsor and funding partners. That is why I'm trying to build now. Seems to me without knowing who my lenders are, no point in identifying properties. Would you agree?
I would say no. There is definitely some point in identifying the properties. I assume that you got held up by a broker. They probably weren't confident in your ability to close or bring it to the end, bring it to finish. I'm not entirely sure of the situation, but that is my guess. And I would say it just comes, you get past that. The more and more you do it, you'll be questioned less and less because you'll be more comfortable and you'll sound like you know what you're talking about more. And as far as sponsors, I mean, you just tell them that I source deals for so and so, for the X, Y, and Z, and I bring them deals to the table. I bring deals to the table, and they add me on as a general partner.
Yep.
Because she says, she followed up and said, no, an offer beat me.
Oh, well then, yeah, you just got beat out by an offer. It happens. It happens. And a lot of times there are people that just submit a LOI or whatever they're asking just because they want to get their LOI accepted, right? Well, down the road, there's those negotiations that continue to take place, and they may not be able to get the price to where the seller's actually happy. So follow up.
We're going to do something towards the end where we'll probably bring on like 1 or 2 people on stage if they want to. And if you do want to, put it in the chat so we can start taking notes. And so when we get closer to the end, we'll bring you on stage. Let's answer this next question real quick. For us beginners in multifamily and looking to get first deal, what do you recommend our steps be?
Call brokers for sure.
Okay.
And then you need to know how to underwrite. But I mean, you don't need to. Like, as someone brand new and you have us as a resource, we didn't have us as a resource. I wish we did. Someone that you can like knowingly go make mistakes and know that like you have someone you can lean on to come to when you make mistakes or need help. So, I mean, if I was in your position, my main focus is I'm going to go find deals. That's all I'm going to get good at. That's all I'm going to worry about. I'm going to learn how to find deals. I'm going to bring them to you guys. Then as you guys walk through the process, I will learn how to do the process because it's hard to learn it. Oh,
let's dive deep into this, KJ. Like, let's really dive deep into it, okay? Because not everybody's like you, not everybody's like me, and not everybody's like Karen, right? So if we have someone who's an underwriter or maybe an integrator type person, what would you say to that person? Actually, let's hear from an integrator. Let's hear from maybe Myron or Joseph. You know, what would a beginner who isn't good on the phone or isn't good talking to people, what would you recommend their first steps be?
We don't talk about it.
Leaders don't talk.
Go ahead, Joseph.
Okay, so here's what I did, right? I am not someone that I'm very good at talking on the phones. I am. I know that I am good on the phones. But that does not bring me any kind of joy whatsoever. I would be much happier sitting behind the screen, underwriting deals, sending LOIs, doing things like that. I do not care to be on the phones, but I know that that is what needs to get done. And if I'm not doing that, and Cage is not doing that, Oscar's not doing that, Carolyn's not doing it, if we aren't doing that, then we're not getting deals. And the way I see it is what's most important right now is we need more deals. So I have more things to underwrite. And so Myron has more things to underwrite. And Ione has more things to underwrite. So that is what I would suggest. Even though you may not be the person that's going to be the broker caller long term or person on the phones, I would suggest you at least do it so you can get an understanding of it. You can figure out who your potential partner down the road is going to be feeling and thinking when they're just explaining their day and what they're going through and the conversations that they had. That would be the first thing I would do, right? The second thing I would do is start figuring out what it is you actually want to do and then put yourself in rooms to do that. If you want to be a 5-star underwriter, then show up to the underwriting Zoom. Show up to everyone's underwriting Zoom. It doesn't have to be just us. If you don't like us, I mean, I don't care. Go learn from someone, right? That's what you got to do. You need to put yourselves in the right rooms. And if you want to be the guy that talks to lenders, start talking to lenders. Let them know, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to get a ground base, figure out what directions I need to take, what kind of things that I need to have prepared for you guys when I'm ready to buy this property, what do I need to already have and ready to bring to the table so that we can make a deal happen together? And just start asking those questions. I mean, you're dealing with humans, right? And just have a human conversation. Let them know. Be honest. I believe transparency is the absolute best way to be in business, because you're 100% transparent all the time. You're always honest. Then what do you have to worry about? You're not trying to hide anything or lie to anybody. I mean, you're being transparent and upfront, like open book. I think that's the best way to be. And all the conversations I've ever had with brokers and sellers, they love that. They love it. They would much rather. I tell them straight up, hey, if it doesn't make sense for us to work together, no problem. Let me know and I can move on, so I don't waste any more time. But I'm very transparent. That is what I would recommend to do.
Joel, I don't know. I don't know if everybody knows you, but I feel like I do. I feel like I know you because we see you, man. We see your energy. We see everything you're doing.
Yes.
We see you all the time.
Hell yeah.
We appreciate you for
thank
sure.
you for being on everything, all of our things. Like specifically for Joel, looking to get your first deal. I would talk to anybody on this Zoom, Oscar, KJ, Carolyn, Joseph, and say, when are you guys making broker calls? Can I please join? And if that, Joel, we know that's what you want to do. I mean, you've been talking about it. If that's really what you want to do, like Joseph said, if that's really what you want to do, then jump on some calls with us. If you're more underwriter, then be on our underwriter Zooms. And I mean, I don't have anything to add other than that because Joseph pretty much said everything, but like get around people who are doing it and level up. And we love you. Okay.
Yeah, we love you. We definitely see you in the Zooms. We definitely see you following what we're doing. And you are already getting in the right rooms. Just getting more of them. Take action.
Okay, so I have another question. This is probably going to be geared more towards Carolyn, because let's say someone is trying to put themselves out there in multifamily, but they want to do it like in a way where maybe they want to get exposure and build a brand, or maybe like a name for themselves, and they're trying to do social media stuff. But they're nervous, right? They're new. They don't know what to do. What would you say to someone who's new and wants to put themselves out there in social media?
Man, for me, I think it's like starting. I'm trying to figure out how to answer this in a strategic way, because there's different ways to put yourself out there. If you feel more comfortable putting yourself out there on stories, start making stories, start sharing what your day is, or this is what I'm going to be working on today. Or, obviously the goal is to be in front of that camera. You want people to know who you are. People want to know who they're doing business with, your name is your only brand you will ever have, and use it wisely. So build yourself up and start doing videos of yourself. You can even make those crazy ass videos where you're not even talking to the camera and you're pretending to talk to somebody else and just answering. You know what I mean? Like there's ways to put yourself out there without having to feel like 3,000 people are looking right at your face.
But Carolyn, what if I'm too cool for school and I don't want to do TikTok? What would you say to someone like that?
When you're not too cool for school.
Let's dive into that.
So here's the thing with TikTok. Like you literally, if you don't like TikTok, okay, that's fine. But you literally don't have to put much effort into TikTok if you don't want to. Like for us, we have our Instagram at Carolyn and Myron, sure. And what I do is I save our videos that we use for our reels or whatever, and I literally just post them on TikTok and I walk away. Like I don't put a lot of effort into TikTok, and I know that I could, but it's literally just like a video platform. You just like put your videos there, you share it. Like YouTube shorts are the same as Instagram reels, are the same as TikTok videos. And it's just the same thing. It's just called a different name. And it's like, I think even myself, I'm guilty of this, putting too much pressure on like, what is it supposed to look like? Did it sound stupid? No one's ever going to find value in this. Da, 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 da. So it's like, just don't worry about it and just post it. Like it's that ready, fire, aim type of mentality instead of ready, aim, fire type. Just go do it. And then you're going to get better and better and better at it. And it's going to, I'm relating this to broker calls because for me, like, yes, I would rather not be on the phone, but you know what? Like you have to grind and do the uncomfortable thing. And then that uncomfortable thing slowly starts to not feel uncomfortable. And then it feels like you're in control during the conversation. And how can they provide value to you? So it's a different thing. You just like have to practice, but practice with intentionality. If you really want to commit to it, then commit to it. Don't just do it because you say like, oh, I need to do it. If that's something you want to get better at, if you want to grow your presence on social media, because this is literally where we live, like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all this.
Hold on a second. Oscar, I know why you're asking this.
Oh, you.
Oscar.
What? Is he plotting?
Oscar, man, I've seen Oscar come up on these reels, man, on these reels.
Getting out of his comfort zone.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
He's been picking it up. And so I think this is actually Oscar asking this question.
Yeah. Here's the thing is because one of the things that we learned about for us building as a team is, people need to know who we are because we also want to reach out to those and help people. But how can we help people if we don't put ourselves out there? Right. And so the first step is, if you've never done it before and you're nervous, what do? It kind of goes back to whenever you're making broker calls for the first time, KJ. Do you remember that, KJ? How you just said earlier that you had to watch me for an entire day before you felt comfortable making broker calls, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as like when you're making a reel or a story, anything that you're posting. I had trouble just putting the phone up like this and recording myself because I'm not used to it, right? So that's why I was asking, like, what would you say to someone who is stuck where maybe I was or maybe someone else was and they're needing to step out of their comfort zone? How important is that for them to start doing that?
Or maybe they're like me and absolutely just despise social media and doing it every day, right?
Get you a wife.
Yeah. If you're like me, go get yourself a wife. That'll work. But for real, just do it. Honestly, I don't know if y'all have seen it. KJ and I have been doing those lives in the morning, and it's like we're just sitting there talking to people and spitting some knowledge, and I kind of enjoy it, to be honest. And like doing these lives, I mean, the underwriting Zoom, right? All of that stuff is not normal Joseph. Joseph did not do that stuff before, right? I never was on social media. KJ literally made my Facebook back in the day because I did not have one, and all of her family wanted to follow me on Facebook. She made it for me, and the Instagram too. I think she made that for me too. I'm not a social media person, but it absolutely is critical if you're going to be in this industry.
Well, I think the goal is to create such an amazing online presence that all your leads are freaking inbound. And like that's your funnel. That is literally your funnel. And all you have to do is get on your phone and talk and like share some edutainment every day. something of
It's
some
like
sort.
educational entertainment.
Educational
Oh, okay,
entertainment. Yes. That's what I
Oh,
meant.
okay. Yeah, I didn't get it either.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified that.
I was gonna say too, like our very, very first live, I think all of us were like awkwardly on here, like like nervous and scared and like didn't know what to talk about and like but now I think all of us enjoy it. We're like, are we doing a live today? Let's do it. So I think as you do it, it gets easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just got to do it and keep doing it.
Joel says this script also applies to mobile home parks too.
I would say no comment because we focus solely on apartment building. I mean, that's my honest answer.
Pardon a greater
I'm,
answer.
I'm sure that it may work on mobile home parks. But that's not what we're looking for.
Like our broker outreach script? Is that what
Yeah, I assume that's what he's referring to.
I don't know about that, dude.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
wouldn't.
know. I don't know about cap rates in mobile home park. Like, I don't think they have a cap rate. Like,
I don't know anything about mobile
They
home
do.
parks.
do they?
Sure, they do. Because Joel, there's a lot going on in mobile home parks because there's tenant-owned land, there's park-owned land. Like there's a lot going on. We can probably connect you to somebody who's in that.
Oh yeah, I know people right now. Go talk to John Lim.
That is a good connection.
Mhm.
Yes, you have to be online to get known. Attraction-based marketing creates time. Exactly.
But I think there are certain people who are comfortable in front of the camera, and there are certain people who are like, okay, I'm gonna overthink this. And
I'm both of those people.
yeah, but okay. So let me ask this, Carolyn. Do you ever get driven and like, okay, I got to do this a lot. I got to do this real. I need to do this.
For sure.
And you're purpose driven.
For sure.
And then are you overthinking that?
Sometimes.
Are you overthinking it in a way to not act, or you're redoing?
Oh yeah, I'm redoing.
Okay, so
I'm acting. I'm taking the action to do it.
You're taking the action, but you're like, let me redo this. Let me redo this. But there are people that are like, holding the phone, going, I don't. Let me. Okay, hold on. Not refining, but just like trying to get it out, right?
Yeah, that was me last night.
Right.
That literally can be a reel of you be like, no, not tonight. Like, how freaking hilarious would that be? Like, that's funny. That's funny to me. I don't know.
Oscar, sorry, go ahead, KJ.
Oh, I was saying I was waiting on the remix of Oscar doing you and Joseph's dance.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good content. That's really good content.
Yeah, that'd be.
He's trying to move on.
He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Even when buying large multifamily, what are you referring to?
Can we get a elaboration on that?
Do you mean like building an online presence even when we're buying large multifamily?
Oh, true.
Is that what that was referring to? I say yes, absolutely.
If that is the question, I think it's even more imperative that we do, because the first thing that these brokers are going to do is start asking questions about. They're trying to vet us to make sure, like we've said already, that we're not wasting their time. So first thing they're going to go do is start checking all our social medias, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, everything that they can find on you, a website, a bio. We're currently working on putting a website together to look nice and professional. So I would absolutely say it's even more important when trying to buy large multifamily, because they want to see that you are someone that is actually doing
it. Yes, for sure.
So, I hope that was your question. That question.
That's what you want to be known for, right? Like, you want people to like hear your name and know what that's attached to. Oh, when I hear KJ and Joseph, I think of multifamily. And when I hear Oscar and Ione, I think of multifamily.
Good. And honestly, that has been true. A lot of people have been hitting us up just because of these things that we've been doing, these lives and putting ourselves out there,
Mhm.
we are becoming the multifamily team, the MF team.
That's what we call ourselves.
Yeah,
And
we should have been MF squared. I think that would have been better.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that like,
kind of funny giving brokers your full name because, like, they're gonna get off the phone and look you up right away.
Yeah,
And your shit better be straight.
Yeah. So
yeah, I gotta fix my weekend.
let's throw another scenario out there, and this one's for Myron. Myron, what if I have a broker, and the broker says, "Yeah, the seller would actually like to do a meeting with you, me, and himself." What would you say to someone who's put in that position and they have to talk to the seller and the broker at the same time?
I think it's good to have your, if you would say it like this, like a closer and an integrator on the call. Someone to have I don't want to say the wrong thing, the schmooze part. What would that be?
The rapport.
The rapport. Thank you so much. The rapport, and then the numbers. So that's what I would say. Somebody who knows that deal backwards and forwards on the numbers and the schmoozy part, the rapport part. And then that way, if something comes up, neither of you are stumped. Because
you have each other to bounce back and forth on.
I think we do that on every call, honestly.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of pressure off. You can lean on each other.
Yeah. And if you can, if it's on Zoom, try to get your team. Like, we have a team here, and we've had calls on a Zoom, and we're trying to like get our phones like to listen in. We have our call going, like a conference call going. We're all trying to hear it at the same time, because this, if you don't know, this takes more than one brain to do. So Barbara, like, I just want to say, Barbara, it's, get your team rolling. Get your team. Cool. But yeah, that's what I would do. Don't be nervous. Like everybody has been saying, like, these people they want to do a deal. They don't want to, the thing is not to hurt you in any way. It is to disqualify you. I want to say that.
For sure.
But you're qualified. You have all the resources you need.
And if it's not that broker, it's going to be the next one. Like, you are going to find and align with the people who want to work with you. And that's who you should stick with. And not everyone is going to be for you. And not everyone shouldn't be for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Good question.
Thank you. This is going to be for Joseph. Joseph, you mentioned earlier that someone can go out and talk to lenders, sorry. How does one find a lender? And once you find a lender, how do you even talk to them? I've never spoken to a lender before.
Yeah. So one thing I did was I reached out to my network. I started asking people, hey, I'm looking for a lender in this space. I'm looking for a commercial lender, right? So that was one thing that I did. I reached out to people that I knew, and I started there, right? So I started with someone that was a residential lender, because that's someone that I knew and I had a connection with. So I started with her, and she connected me to another lender who was in the commercial space. And at the same time, I'm building up that relationship with her, and she's going to bird dog deals for us down the road. So that's one thing that I got out of just calling this person, right? So you could also look up commercial lenders in the area. You want to look up top performing commercial lenders. You could ask a title company, hey, who are some commercial lenders that you work with in the area, right? You just start reaching out to your network and everyone and anyone that you can, asking for referrals for commercial lending. That's what you're looking for. What was the second part of your question, Oscar?
Okay, so I found in my lender. What do I even say? I've never spoken to a lender before.
Yeah, for sure. So you could go one of two ways. You could, and again, I'm a very transparent, honest person. I told them straight up, hey, I am new to the space. I'm looking to acquire 40+ unit apartment buildings, and I want to know what I need to know. I don't know what I don't know. So I would like to sit down with you or have a conversation with you. I'll even take you out to go get coffee or something, right? You know, schmooze them a little bit. You want them to be on your side because ultimately this would be someone that you would partner up with on the deal. And you may not think of it as a partner, but you're essentially partnering up with them on that deal for that X amount of dollars to purchase the property. So I would sit down with them and just start letting them know the situation, what you're looking to do. I'm looking to accomplish this. I'm looking for X, Y, and Z on our buy box. And our buy box, we can share that with you as well. But you just let them know this is what I'm looking for. I want to know what kind of loans are associated with these types of deals. What is the most common things you see? What is the most common reasons that you guys deny someone? Is there something requirements that I need to have before getting a deal in place or before coming to you? Is there something that you would like for me to do? Make sure I have it in place, ready to go. I mean, you'll just start having a conversation with them and you will figure out what you need to start asking. Every conversation will be better than the last conversation as far as your knowledge base, because they'll ask you a question and you may get stumped. You'll be like, yeah. And it's okay, right? You just let them know I'm newer, right? They'll understand that you're newer and they're going to want to try and get your business because the way they make money is by getting new clients to give loans to. So one thing I did recently, I went to a meetup here in Tucson, a multifamily meetup, and I met someone that is a commercial lender in the space, and he lends nationwide. So without even, really that being my primary goal was just to meet as many people as I can. But it just so happened that I needed this resource. And so I gave him a call and let him know exactly what I just told y'all. Hey, I'm a little bit newer. We're looking to acquire these types of properties. I want to know more. I want to know more about lending. I want to understand it completely. So he actually volunteered some of his time to meet with us, me and the team here, to go over any and all questions that we have. So that we just rescheduled that for tomorrow morning, but that's a meeting that we're going to have tomorrow morning. So we can get even more questions that we don't know that we need and figure out basically anytime and every time you're going to get more information, you should have more questions. You should go out there and you should be listening, active listening to what they're saying so you can have a better understanding. And with that better understanding, you have more questions now because you're thinking down the road. So I hope that answers.
Damn. Okay, Joseph 3.0 over here.
I know he dropped the wholesaling and now he's just like a multifamily wizard now.
Apparently, hey, that's what happens when you put some focus into your goals. Boom.
Boom.
Amazing.
Love
Well,
it.
we appreciate everybody who's still been on here. We've been on here for an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Thank you guys. We did good.
Anybody got questions? I think we got them all. I feel like today was a good session.
Is there a way to invite somebody on stage?
Yeah, there's the invite button and you send them like a copy, like a clipboard thing.
Okay.
You getting someone on stage?
Let me try here.
Where's Carlos?
Hold on a second here.
Yeah, up on stage. I mean, more
Who
than
wants to be on stage? I guess it's not as easy as Zoom.
Yeah, I just want to point out this though, right here. If you guys didn't get anything from the Zoom today, the one thing that y'all should take home with you is the first two words of Tyler's comment here. take action. That's what you need to do. Take
Exactly.
action. Take imperfect action. And when you guys mess it up, because most likely it'll get messed up, which is good, then come back with questions. And we'll address
For
the
sure.
question.
I have an Airbnb that I want to own, but I don't know if I can.
Oh, sorry. So
What do
what
you-
is the situation? Yeah, we need more info than that.
Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
Make some more calls.
Make one more call. Exactly.
Take KJ's attitude. Either I'm broke or I'm a millionaire. Which one?
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight though, but we're definitely on the way.
I'm a millionaire. We're millionaires here. Multi-millionaires.
So the three documents is the OM, which is short for offering memorandum. Usually you receive that from a broker. It's basically actually if you go to that underwriting Zoom and watch that, I explain it pretty well in there. But it is the OM, which is a kind of a brochure poster. Hey, look at this deal. This is all the cool stuff about it, right? It's a lot of fluff, but it gives you some basic information. That's the OM. Then there's the T12, which is the trailing 12 months. It's kind of like a P&L sheet. Basically shows all the income and all the expenses broken down. You generally want a detailed T12 showing pretty much every line item, expense, and income, as well as broken out for each month. The third thing is rent rolls. And that pretty much just is a snapshot of what the rent rolls look like right now. Who is in there, who's vacant, how much are they paying on time, that type of stuff. So OM, T12s, rent roll.
Sounds good. Myra, did you want to bring anyone on stage, or are you good?
Oh, let's do our buddy. Hold on one second.
I made a to-do list to create a Google Doc to add to the MF link, and then I'm gonna put the script, the Zooms, the Podio link, have everything in one spot. So then, like,
Sweet.
everything multifamily, but that'll be taken care of tomorrow.
Let me try to call somebody real quick. Hold on.
It's gonna be like Pace as a surprise guest or something. So let me call Pace real quick.
Just kidding. It's just me on the other line.
Surprise! Does anyone have questions in the meantime?
I think I had something I wanted to add.
You're definitely good at navigating the conversations, Oscar.
I know.
You.
I love that he's like asking questions. I like that. I love the way you direct and narrate
Keep it going.
the platform.
I'm trying to get Joel up here with us for a second.
Let's get
Come on,
Joel.
Is he hopping on?
Don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna give him 20 seconds.
What happened?
I was pushing buttons. That's what happened.
Today's guest is Joseph.
Who's pushing buttons?
I don't know.
Let's see. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Alright.
No one wants to jump on.
Let's do.
We'll have to plan this another time. We should also put like in the Google Docs like a schedule. Like these are the dates that you can expect to come on live, and this is what the dates. Like Mondays are for underwriting, Fridays are for like
Schedule.
Q&A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the link tree up at the top where it has the title, right? We should post that in like the subtitle, like underwriting Zoom, underwriting and Q&A this time.
Or just have like a calendar, like a. Oh,
Oh,
Joel.
Joel says he's coming.
missed your chance, bro.
To answer your question, can you show what an LOI on a multifamily offer looks like? I think we're going to save that for another Zoom, more of a like a continuation of like an underwriting and how you get to an LOI. I think it'd be better off for a Zoom, but not particularly a live. So look out for that. We'll definitely do something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Joel, we're about to jump off, bro. We'll get you on the next one, okay? We've been rolling for 2 hours.
I know.
I appreciate everyone for being here. Thank you so much for showing up today, guys. And next time I'll have better questions for everyone too.
Oh, you had wonderful
You'll be
questions.
scheming. You're
I
a
love
great.
the questions,
You're a great
man.
moderator.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
We
everyone.
appreciate everyone. Thank you guys all for hanging around with us.
Thanks
We
for
will be
hanging.
back again. Until next time.
Until next time. Peace out.